This is the Human AI Experience, a space for creative minds shaping the future, empowering you with the right tools, insights, and real-world stories to harness AI and elevate your creative work.
On today's show, we're going to talk about Meta and how they want AI to take over your ad campaigns completely. So, we're going to talk about a future where you just drop a product link and AI does the rest. What does that mean for marketers, designers, and the future of creative work? Is this a revolution or a takeover? Let's find out. I'm Daniel, and this is the Human AI Experience.
So, Daniel, I was reading some articles about how Meta is implementing their AI in the marketing, and they aim to fully automated advertisement systems by 26, so next year. And the idea is like you just need to put a basic like link of your product on Meta system, and they will create the whole campaign. The copies, the visuals, the target audience, the placement. So they will do everything together. So you don't need any marketer to do that, which is a bit scary. And they are already expanding to create like some generative tools. So these tools they can write ad copies. They can generate product images, even create videos. So that's pretty much interesting too. And they will personalize the customer interactions. So they will offer some support, some handling purchasings. So we can purchase straight on Messenger and WhatsApp, which is interesting. Nowadays, they already offer an Advantage Plus. So if when you create some ads, you can put some AI improvements, let's say, in the end of the ad. And I think they wanna expand this tool, so to create like some and to make it easier the ad process. So the idea is that AI will dynamically adjust and test ads in different user segments based on real-time behavior. So AI will be trained in real time, which is interesting. And this means not just to target better in their perspective, of course, but also adapt the message to the users, to our clients or prospects. So what they say is that the benefits that we'll have is less time spending on manual ad creation. It will be cost-effective content generation, and then we create like scalability for small business and lean marketing teams. So I think it's interesting in this perspective, and they just fear a bit of the loss of copywriters, designers, and media buyers. And so I think it's kind of a risk, for our agencies. So let's see what can happen.
Okay, let's pause for a bit because I think there's a lot in here,
Yeah,
which is insane. Okay, so first, just a product link, and how about your brand voice or your the history of your brand? That usually when people are actually creating these ads, they have a history of the brand. They have some guidelines about the brand tone of voice, how to what is allowed, what is not allowed for brands to do, right? Are you gonna upload all of that into the system? How it's gonna handle that? Of course, I can already see them saying, no, but if you've been advertising with us, we can learn back, look at how what is the history of your brand's positioning, and then we can just replicate that. Yeah, but what if we are actually want to change?
yeah,
So this level of control is a clear monopoly,
yeah, definitely, definitely.
and they already monopolize this the whole basically, if you want to advertise anything, any product today, you have basically two platforms to go. It's YouTube or basically Google, whether you're going to do some ads on their or Google's platform on YouTube, of course, and all their Google's platforms, and of course the search engine, which powers 90% of the web, which is already a monopoly. And you have all the meta platforms, and that's basically it. You have two platforms to go.
Yeah,
So we're already talking about a monopoly. So what? I just don't see this. There's so many problems
yeah,
that comes with it. and also so many, if of course there are some advantages, especially for small companies that cannot afford to have a marketing team. For those, I think those can benefit a lot from this, and I think for that segment is great. But to block like big brands that have marketing teams and know they have a lot of strategies and communication guidelines to do their work, also being creative, right? Because you're offloading creativity to AI, and
Yeah,
we have been exploring a lot of this in this podcast, and we know that creativity is one thing that AI cannot do it properly. So you have to
yeah,
have human inputs in there.
yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy because what they aim is like to fully have they have fully control of your own brand. So my brand, and they have the full control of my target audience, of my creatives, all my ads, and everything. So where is the part where I have control of my own business? That's the thing that I question myself when I'm reading this article. And I was like, what the fuck?
Exactly. It's just and then again, if it's a monopoly, you have no control on their pricing as well, right?
Yeah,
Because you're already a slave for that platform. So if they start doing this for you, you have to trust that they are actually doing the right decisions and that they are managing your money in the best way possible.
yeah,
And but you have no other option. So you you have to trust them, but then they can increase their prices, and then
yeah.
you have nothing to do. You have to go with it.
Another
So
thing
I
is,
mean, there's so many
yeah,
problems.
and one of the questions that I made to myself, like I was reflecting, are they allowing you to see, for example, the target audience that you are selling to? Or are they controlling that and hiding, because if they have control, they can easily hide it from you. So this is something that concerns me because it's really hard for you to find the right audience. It's already super hard because you need to test and retest and do all the things. So when you find it, then you can control, your niche and then focus on your niche. And then suddenly a platform like that takes over the control of this. So how it's gonna be? It's not
Yeah,
clear.
yeah. I think it's like how much transparency are they going to give us as well, right? In terms of information
Yeah,
about all these things, right? So I just not I don't like this. And you can see that there's a movement from all these big monopoly companies
yeah,
to control all the touch points, right? And Google is another example. Even though I know we're talking about Meta, but Google just lost a lawsuit case in the US about monopolizing the all the three checkpoints that, let's say, if you are using Google to advertise something, you go to an auction of a keyword, and then if
that's
you
so bad.
you have the highest bid plus the highest relevance, then you go and you will be featured on the top of the search engine for that particular keyword. But they control every step until you get there, including the fact that if they think they are going to benefit more from that keyword that you just paid for, they can use it before you, which is completely not fair.
Yeah,
And that's why they lost that case. So I don't know what's going to happen now. They are in the, what did they call, the remedies phase, where they need to figure it out how they're going to
fix that.
solve this issue. Maybe sell part of one of the touch points that they control to other company, or open that for other people to get into the market. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but at least there's a victory there, that it's breaking a bit their control, all these advertising
Yeah,
tools, right?
and
And but then Meta is also moving towards that way to get more and more control, and then
yeah,
we cannot allow that.
and talking about that, do you think Meta plans is a creative revolution, or is the end of the human-made ads? What do you think about that?
I think they don't care, because I think that it's only metrics that they see. So if your ad sucks but it's selling, they're gonna push that,
Yeah,
because they gain from that, even if that damages your brand. because you have no control all of
Yeah.
a sudden, right? So maybe putting your, I think I can see a lot of risks of outsourcing that to them. Let's say they realize that your brand is going to sell more by using, I don't know, uh, like a very controversial image, right?
Yeah.
And then it's selling more with that, but it's completely against your brand values. So what do? It's damaging your brand on long term, but it's
Yeah.
selling. How do you change that? How do you adjust that?
Yeah.
Because if you are manually doing this process, you can take that out because that doesn't align with your brand values,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you know there's going to be a learn like a long term effect.
Yeah.
But when you don't have
That's
control,
That's an
what
amazing
happens?
reflection. Amazing reflection because I haven't thought about this point of view. Of course, because you were a marketer, so your whole life was in the marketing agency, so you know a lot better than me how to create a brand. And it's a bit scary to think about that. If you have like something super polemical or something, I don't know, Donald Trump selling your product or Biden, I don't know, this kind of extremes. So it's hard to think about it. But I believe it's not fully automated. I don't think they will just make it everything, and then you just probably you need to accept the designs. I hope so. Um,
That's not how I read it. I think they maybe it's gonna be rolled out in phases, right? Then in the beginning you will still have some level of control, but there I think the ideal scenario is that you don't have to do anything, they do everything for
yeah,
you, you just collect the price. But what is the impact long term in your brand if you don't know even what's coming out, right?
yeah,
There's no you just let go of control at all. And I'm not saying this is totally bad, because I see where there are some cases where this can be very beneficial, especially for a small business that cannot afford proper marketing, proper branding teams. Maybe they can leverage that. But if you have a marketing team, you have to give them the control, not Meta.
yeah,
And you know, I don't know if I've been very public about this, but I don't like Mark Zuckerberg. I don't like anything, a lot of the things that he is doing with Meta, with Meta products. I think
yeah. It's a
he
bit
doesn't seem
controversial.
to care
Yeah,
that. Yeah, there's a lot of bad decisions. It's using dark patterns and a lot of things like that. So I would love to be able to not have to rely on his platforms to be able to advertise anything, but that's not the reality. You have to kind of use them
yeah,
to reach some target audiences. Then and this giving this guy more control is just not good.
yeah. And talking related to the topic, like how might this affect ad agencies and creative professionals in your point of view as a professional in this area?
Think it's gonna end a lot of it's gonna the agency business is already struggling with a
Yeah,
lot of with AI, for example, with advancements in AI, a lot of people not hiring agencies anymore, doing things in house. It has been in a the model of the agency, the creative agency, has been a bit under an identity crisis, and I think this is only going to make it worse, right? Because all of a sudden, then technically you don't need them anymore, even though you do. But it might also force agencies to shift their strategy to from execution to focus more on maybe strategy, or looking more high level, and then let that execution happen
for me.
under Meta's platform. But I don't know. We
Yeah.
we will need to see what is the impact when this is out as well. Hi, if you're enjoying this episode, if this podcast has sparked something in you, made you think differently, or simply kept you company today, please consider leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. It doesn't cost anything, but it means the world to us. Your support helps us reach more people and continue investing in content that inspires, informs, and gives it back to you. We appreciate your support. Thank you.
For me, it looked like when the content marketed gained like some weight, So, for example, internal marketing. So the companies were doing their own marketing. It was already a big punch in the marketing agencies because you could see that, for example, the CEOs now they're doing content, so they are showing more. Of course, CEOs of big companies they already have a team to do that, So people who film and do the short clips or even anything. But I mean, like small companies, they were already like using these tactics, So it was already a big punch, I think, in the market agencies. And then when you automatize with AI, it's another punch. And now Meta is taking over the rest of the knowledge, So if you don't need anyone to do your marketing, for me, it's a bit scary to think that some part of the agencies they're gonna disappear.
I think there's another thing that we're not considering this with this shift, right? Because what happens with what a lot of those things are AI automatized, like, and then it also creates this whole sameness, right? Because the AI tendency, because it's only feeding from the past, is not creating something new,
Yeah,
let's say, it's not innovating. Um, then everything is going to start looking the same, and then it's already happening. If we start looking critically on the web today, there's a lot of content that you can clearly see it's AI generated. It's very plastic, very perfect. And where is the companies and brand differentiator, right? Because I think when everybody's doing the same, nobody's standing out, nobody's actually uh, growing or outpacing the competition, right?
yeah,
So, and then branding or your brand's differentiator becomes your biggest asset against the competition because you are a different brand, you're doing things differently.
yeah,
When everybody's doing the same, it becomes more and more important to actually have a creative team and to actually be able to invest creativity and innovation in your brand, because then you're going to stand out.
yeah,
But I think we're gonna have to reach that sameness level, or what everything will look a bit plastic and a bit sterile to learn that lesson, right?
yeah. And
And maybe because of my background in creativity, I've been trained to think about
yeah,
that this is a key differentiator in it, all the most um, creative ads or pieces of advertising that came out along the years, the most absurd that wouldn't probably it would be probably ruled out in in the metrics evaluation on focus groups to test if that commercial would actually do well. All of them would fail, but somebody took the risk, someone took the bet to actually put them out there, and then it stand out because it was so different, nobody was expecting it. They were successful because of that. It was a risk, but when you automatize everything, there's no risk there,
yeah,
because automatization by default is risk averse,
yeah.
because you want to control the process. So I don't know, I don't see
Or
this
maybe,
having a very good positive result.
yeah, or maybe it's a risk, as you said, like that is totally out of your brand strategy or brand values, So something super polemical that will sell just for selling. But at the same time, I see an opportunity for people who enter in this wave, let's say, in the beginning. As any waves, when you go in the first point, probably people will sell a lot, until we see a lot of the same ads, and the same standards of stuff. So I feel that people who's gonna use this tool like in the beginning, they will benefit a lot. But as you said, probably in the middle of next year, we're gonna see a lot of the same. So then the human beings are be the differentiation of the business. Would you think that marketers will lose the ability to truly understand their audience and connect with them, or do you think it's gonna be easier for us to find and target audience?
I don't I don't think so. I think it's let's say delegate all the creation to a platform, and you depends on how transparent they are, right? Which target group are my campaign is being more successful too. Because if they don't give you that information, then you're in the dark. Then it creates more dependency on the tool as well. If they don't give you the transparency and it's working for you, you don't know what's coming out. It's working, and you're depending on that because it's working, and then all of a sudden you're gonna keep doing it because it's working, and but you don't know what's going on. You're in the dark, and I
Yeah.
think this is really dangerous for a brand. Really, really dangerous.
Yeah, I think I feel the same. Feel the same. If you don't know your target, if you don't know anything about your brand, then it's over. There's no brand. They can take over your brand,
Yeah,
So
that's I think that's the biggest that's the most difficult thing that a company or a brand needs to do is defining a target audience or a pub or a target group that actually it is your customer, that you know you're targeting these people and they are the ones buying it, right? Your product or your service. This is the hardest thing to find. So if you outsource that, you lose complete control of where your business is centered in. So I don't know. I just think I hope there's some pushback in this decision of going fully automated AI ad campaigns for Meta, and I hope things change because it doesn't seem that this is sustainable either,
yeah.
right? For brands, there's too much risk in there for you to completely outsource that one of the most important things you have in your business, which is knowing your customer.
So, in your opinion, how can marketers ensure that their campaigns reflect their brand's tone of voice, values, and ethics when using an AI like that? Do you have any idea?
It depends on what the platform offers, right? Like I think we started talking about this.
Yeah.
Are they gonna allow you to input your brand voice, your brand specs, your brand visuals, your how do you define your brand, all these things that brands always operate within the constraints of these guidelines and rules, right? If they don't allow you that, or they tell you that they're gonna piggyback on whatever you've been advertising in the past, then it it get it locks you into the past of your brand. You don't have the ability to actually steer the direction or change it. If you want to change your brand or change the direction, is the platform going to allow you?
Yeah.
So it is. I think it's very tricky, but it will depend on how much control they will give us, and I don't think we know yet.
But I think you were right in the terms like when everything is the same, then only one thing can make it work. Like the human creativity. So maybe these people will stand out. The creatives that break the standards and the patterns. So that's the way I see. And could the best marketers and creatives actually rise above this automation, as I said, like becoming like the new disruptors who blend machine scale with human storytelling? Do you think like the storytellers are gonna rise?
They have always been, right, but the big question is if the platform is doing all of it for you, then there's no room for storytelling and creativity there. If they are generating everything for you, right? Then if that happens, it's going to happen outside the Meta's platform ad engine, right?
Yeah.
Or
If they
unless you have some level of control, then you could do it. But I think that's your differentiator, like how you use storytelling and creativity and innovation in your brand.
Yeah.
That's the only way to stand out in this crowded market.
But to be honest, like I don't feel that they gonna impose that you use these tools. For example, nowadays they have the Advantage Plus, so you can choose some of, for example, change the music of your video and like put some text in different places. These kind of tools, AI generated tools, they already offer on the when you're doing your ad on the Meta's platform. I feel that they're gonna offer people, this too. It's not gonna be imposed, because if they do that, there's a big risk of a lot of people just like stop doing ads, and I think ads represent like 95% of the revenue of Facebook, so they cannot risk that much. So I feel that they're gonna just offer something new that is this AI automated.
Let's hope. Let's hope that
Yeah,
it's that's not going to be imposed. We'll see. We'll see. I'm curious to see what is the big plan behind this, right?
yeah,
Why they want to control all of that? Are they going to increase prices? They're gonna they or they want to charge more to give you the full spectrum of this of the whole ad campaign creation. So what are their real intentions behind this decision of moving to automate?
yeah,
And uh, following Mark Zuckerberg's intentions, I can't see this with good eyes. I can see this with good eyes.
yeah.
I think there's no good intentions under this, unfortunately. Cool. I think that's it for now. I think we went through a very interesting discussion in this episode, and then you can see that I get really, really intense in this because it's I think this is one way to kill creativity, and I don't like that. I think that's one of the key skills that we humans have, and then we should cling on into it and then hang on because this is what makes us human. So I'm totally against this level of monopoly. But that was it. That was it for today. Thanks for listening. See you next week.